What's up guys, it's Joi Boi. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 9.7-inch iPad Pro. So the 9.7-inch iPad Pro is of the first generation of iPad Pros. They wanted this one to be the exact same size as the traditional iPad, just a lot more functional. It still has that smart connector down at the bottom, and it still does have Touch ID, so when you want to unlock it, you're able to unlock it just using your fingerprint. This iPad Pro still uses the first generation of Apple Pencil, so it's the one with the very, very smart connection in where you plug it into the lightning connector down at the bottom, you give it a few seconds, it pops up for you to pair it, you pair the pencil, and then you're able to use it on your iPad. The smart thing is that that's also how you charge it. So when you want to charge your Apple Pencil, you have to plug it into the iPad, and you can't charge the iPad when you're charging the pencil, so there's a perpetual dichotomy going on. I use this iPad, I'll take it to class with me, I'll write down my notes using the pencil because I don't like to use paper and pencil because I don't like how often I'll mess something up and then I'll have to scribble it out because I like to write in pen. And I don't like how much paper I go through. For so many classes, I go through so many pieces of paper when I take my notes that everything just ends up being thick notebooks, and I don't like throwing those out at the end of the year. Even when I keep them, it's just so much paper and so much stuff that I have to keep that I'd rather just do it electronically and keep all of that stuff in one small space. The iPad Pro really had some growing pains when it first came out. Honestly, I think the smart connector was one of the best things about this, but I think the Apple Pencil was a little lackluster on its first release. When it first came out, it was fantastic. It was the only option. Nowadays, we have the iPad 6th generation that supports Apple Pencil. It's still this Apple Pencil that it supports. It doesn't support the 2nd generation of Apple Pencil. But I think the true capability of this iPad Pro to replace taking a laptop to class with you and stuff is going to be using a keyboard that uses the smart connector. So this iPad Pro's capabilities really shine as a laptop replacement when you have a keyboard attached to it. I don't have the Apple keyboard case that you can purchase because I thought that it was a little too much money for the lack of protection. I'm not the most careful when it comes to my devices, so I wanted to have something that would have protection as well as give me that keyboard that I would be able to use to type. Granted, when using this keyboard, it gives me almost entirely computer-like function, so I'm able to do what I need to on this keyboard and on this iPad without having to whip out my computer. For taking notes, going to class, stuff like this, it's fantastic. When it comes to my degree, I'm not able to use this as heavily as I am a computer, so tons of times I'll see that I need to whip out my MacBook Pro or whip out my 15-inch MSI GS65, and that's when I need to start doing my actual homework, because a lot of my homework ends up being coding, and there's no real good integrated development environment where you're able to do it on iOS. The iPad Pros still use iOS as their operating system, so you're limited by using apps that are native to the App Store, and a lot of those coding apps don't exist yet. Overall, the iPad Pro is a fantastic replacement for a laptop when it comes to simple tasks like taking notes, going to class, surfing the web. The iPad Pro is certainly able to take advantage of its lightness, its portability, and the smart connector, as well as the Apple Pencil in order to do all these tasks. Alright guys, that's been Joi Boi. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you next. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see next.